So prior to that, America was just an eastern slither.
That's right. That's right.
And I think New Orleans had more black millionaires than anywhere else. And it had a lot to do too. When you have the British laws and the French laws and the Spanish laws, it's a little more wide open, as opposed to say some of the New England colonies might have just been the Puritans, whatever. They just that English, that British mentality. It was more wide open down in New Orleans. And then you also had some mean slave insurrections down there.
The largest one in the country took place here.
Yeah, that one right there.
Yes, sir. Something that we should always take note of, because history has a funny way of repeating itself. The Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, where did he have his most chapters at?
Ooh. I'm not going to guess. You tell me.
Louisiana, over 400.
Now I'm thinking globally. Louisiana had the most.
Louisiana had the most.
Big port city, international city.
And the culture in Louisiana is like gumbo. Mm-hmm. There's a little bit of everything all mixed together. Mm-hmm. I mean, there are people, one of the greatest overlooked historical facts is that a lot of people who lived in Mississippi and Louisiana, they never fled to the north. They fled south of the border. Like on my mother's side, they're from Cuba. Mm-hmm. And a lot of Black people from Louisiana went down to Veracruz, Mexico. And that's why when you get down to Veracruz, mm-hmm. you start seeing the old Mech. Yeah. You see the big head.
Yeah.
And if you go to
nose.
Yeah, culturally speaking, each part of Louisiana, even to this very day, is different. New Orleans is very different than Baton Rouge, even though I can drive 45 minutes from my office and I'm in New Orleans, but it's different from Baton Rouge. Mm-hmm. When you start moving out to Lafayette, Opelousas, Lafayette is different than New Orleans and Baton Rouge. So you had pockets of Louisiana where the people were not enslaved. Mm-hmm. I mentioned the swamp in Cecilia Fatima. And if you ever seen any video of me, I always say land literacy for all the land illiterates. The people in Louisiana were highly land literate people. Mm-hmm. See, in the nation, we always talk about purchasing and getting land. And I asked one of the brothers one day, I said, what's more important than land? And he didn't say nothing. I said, man. In the Bible, it says, and there was no man to till the earth. Mm-hmm. So if you get land and you're land illiterate, then the land can become a liability. So you have to have a comprehensive knowledge as to what to do with land in order to make the land productive and produce for you. And it goes way beyond just getting food out of the land. So when they went to Oklahoma, the people who went to Oklahoma from Louisiana, from Florida, from different parts, those men and women too, but especially the men, were highly land literate. Mm-hmm. Now, I in my day-to-day look at land every day, but let me give you an example. My great-grandfather, he could look at the land and he was so highly land literate until he could tell you the best place to dig a well, the best place to fish, the best place to hunt. All of this stuff here is part of land assessment. So you didn't, you know how they talk in the Bible about how they went and spied the land? Yeah. They're doing a land assessment. Yeah. And they know how far it is from the sea or and so forth, so that they can get resources, so that they can set up an economy. Mm-hmm. In Stonecrest, Georgia, it's not just a Black business. it's an economic ecosystem. We have to get to the point to where when we go someplace, we're not there just to set up a business. We're there to set up a system, because inside of our system is where our power lies. The Louisiana people were given the opportunity here in Louisiana, because they got some places in Louisiana, white folk will just let you just go and be to yourself and leave you alone. They don't necessarily, you know, and I guess it's like that kind of, but in Louisiana, it's a little different, because you could really just go set up your own community and do your own thing. And the only time it became a problem is when the middlemen, some call them carpetbaggers, they got a little red book in the Nation of Islam where we read a lot about them. When they come in, they want the resources, so they start pitting the average white person against the average black person. The average Caucasian is just somewhere trying to survive, and they will leave you alone until this certain class of leadership comes in and starts using techniques to make one person fight the other one.
Divide and conquer. I gotta steal you for a minute.